Top 10 reasons why I absolutely hate Punch the Monkey.
Which is just a remarkable piece of cultural commentary disguised as a rant. And, just to establish the baseline context for anyone who somehow missed this specific digital phenomenon, Punch is a massively famous viral monkey living in a Japanese zoo.
Oh yeah, he is ubiquitous across every major social platform right now, like everywhere.
Definitely. Ubiquitous might actually be an understatement.
For sure. And our mission today is to explore this author's desperate plea to understand the collateral damage of internet virality. Because, we tend to think of viral animal videos as harmless background noise.
Yeah, just a quick hit of dopamine on a Tuesday afternoon.
Exactly. But this piece painstakingly documents how a simple, cute animal video can completely rewrite our most intimate relationships, hijack our digital algorithms, and even, dismantle our own sense of pride. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, we have to start by examining the immediate physical world of the author. Before looking at the internet at large, we really need to see how virality infiltrates the home.
Right, the domestic invasion.
Yeah, it doesn't just stay on the smartphone. It hijacks the author's closest relationships. And the invasion begins with his wife.
Oh, man, yeah. He notes that she used to ask him how his day was when he got home, which is, standard, healthy spouse behavior.
Right, but now...
Now, the only question she asks is, did you see the new Punch video? And she is watching this monkey 24/7.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, it is constantly playing.
Always. And the detail that paints the most vivid picture of this domestic takeover is when he tried to start a conversation with her and she actually shushed him.
Wow.
Her exact words were, "Shh, Punch is about to jump."
See, that moment encapsulates the displacement of physical presence. The author observes that while he lives with his wife in a physical house emotionally, she is residing inside the zoo enclosure.
That is so wild to think about.
It is. People form such intense bonds with a screen that real-world companions, like spouses and pets, are entirely sidelined.
Oh, and speaking of pets, the collateral damage doesn't stop with the wife. It cascades right down to the family dog.
Right, the dog who previously held the undisputed title of the cutest animal in the house.
Yeah, he's been totally dethroned. The author says that now, when his wife looks at the dog, she sighs and says, "Ah, he's nice, but he's not Punch."
Which is just brutal.
It is, and the dog knows it. The author specifically mentions that the dog hasn't made eye contact with them for 3 days.
That is hilarious, but it really shows this shift in the household hierarchy. The family pet is experiencing a crisis of confidence because of a monkey in Japan.
Exactly. And if you think geographical or generational distance provides any immunity, it doesn't. He talks about calling his own mother.
Oh, right, the phone call.
Yeah, he calls her up on the phone, and she puts him on hold. Why? Because, quote, Punch is doing something. He laments that he raised this woman better than that.
It's just a total displacement. Spouses, pets, and children are all sidelined by a screen. Real relationships require constant maintenance,
Yeah, they take work.
Exactly. A viral monkey requires nothing but passive observation.
Right. And the author points out something even stranger about that emotional payoff. He mentions his wife called Punch emotionally intelligent. Think about that.
Emotionally intelligent.
Yes. She called a monkey thoughtful and emotionally intelligent because he was literally just eating a leaf. Meanwhile, the author is sitting right there on the couch actually managing the household finances.
Yeah, thinking about taxes, bills, the meaning of life.
Right. So I have to ask, is it possible we project profound meaning onto viral animals precisely because they aren't talking about taxes? It's almost like having a roommate who never complains about doing the dishes.
Oh, absolutely. What's fascinating here is the sheer asymmetry of that projection. The blank canvas effect is the engine driving this specific type of virality.
Makes sense, because he doesn't talk.
Right. He lacks human language and all the anxieties of modern adult life. So when he eats a leaf, he isn't reminding the wife of her mortgage rate.
Yeah, or asking what's for dinner.
Exactly. He becomes an empty vessel for anthropomorphic projection. The viewer is free to project complete serenity onto a biological function as simple as chewing.
Wow, yeah. It creates an entirely unfair contrast with the author.
Who is burdened with the deeply unviral reality of being a complex human being.
You cannot compete with the serenity of a leaf-eating monkey. But this raises the critical question of access. How does a primate in a different hemisphere manage to breach the perimeter of a household so thoroughly?
Well, the wife's obsession doesn't happen in a vacuum. We have to look at the digital infrastructure that enabled this invasion.
Right, because the internet is meticulously designed to trap us in these exact loops.
Yes, we are looking at a digital avalanche. The domestic infiltration is merely the symptom, and the algorithmic architecture is the underlying mechanism.
Because he admits he watched one single punch video, just one click.
Yeah,
And that single interaction completely destroyed his YouTube homepage.
it really did.
He says YouTube now genuinely believes he runs a full-time monkey fan club. We need to look at the specific video titles he lists because they're just a masterclass in the modern attention economy.
You really are.
His homepage is flooded with titles like Punch Eats Banana, Punch Scratches Head.
Don't forget the emotional one.
Oh yeah, Punch Blinks Slowly with emotional in all caps.
Oh.
And my personal favorite, the ultimate endurance test. Punch stares at camera for 12 minutes.
And the crazy part is he originally went there looking for a business tutorial.
Yeah, and he left, knowing Punch's entire daily routine. It's like the YouTube algorithm is an incredibly aggressive, presumptuous matchmaker.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right, like you're at a party, you happen to glance at someone across the room for 2 seconds, and suddenly this matchmaker has booked a venue, ordered a cake, and planned your entire wedding.
And you can't even say, whoa, I was just looking at their hat.
Exactly. The algorithm has already decided this is your soulmate and locked the doors to the venue.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, your matchmaker analogy maps perfectly onto how recommendation engines operate. They do not care about your stated intentions.
Like watching a business tutorial.
Right. They optimize entirely for session time. They operate on the assumption that your micro-engagements, like a slight pause scrolling past a thumbnail, reveal your true behavioral baseline.
So when he clicked that first video,
The algorithm didn't interpret it as passing curiosity. It identified a retention trigger. And the profound absurdity here is how an animal operating with zero strategic intent inadvertently commands a personal brand that outclasses human creators.
yeah, creators who are aggressively trying to manipulate those exact metrics.
Yeah.
And the author is painfully aware of that personal brand disparity.
Oh, definitely.
He brings up his friends to illustrate how his social circle has been totally compromised. He notes his friends no longer send normal check-in messages.
All right, no more. Hey, bro, how are you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now his phone just lights up with messages that say, "Look at Punch." Alongside a crying, laughing emoji, he genuinely wonders if he has friends anymore or if he is just surrounded by Punch distributors.
Punch distributors. That phrase perfectly captures how peer-to-peer communication is co-opted by platform dynamics.
That's so true.
Virality relies on turning individual human relationships into mere nodes for content dissemination. His friends aren't really communicating with him anymore.
They're just utilizing their social tie to broadcast the monkey. And it hits his ego incredibly hard. Punch has millions of views and worldwide fans, while the author has like 3 likes on Facebook.
And one is from his aunt.
Yeah, one is from his aunt. The monkey is winning at the internet without possessing the cognitive capacity to even know what the internet is.
Which brings us to the final and perhaps most psychologically revealing stage of this entire saga.
Right, we've traced the family takeover and the algorithm. What's the final stage?
The psychology of defeat. Surrendering to the monkey. True virality isn't just seeing the meme everywhere, it is psychological assimilation.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the author doesn't go down without a fight. He has this deep, stubborn sense of pride.
He really tries to hold out.
He does. He admits that he eventually gave Punch a chance and watched a full video, and he confesses that, yes, the monkey was, quote, kind of funny.
He's starting to crack.
But he draws a firm line in the sand. He explicitly states, "I refuse to lose to a monkey." He's spent years perfecting his comedy.
Yeah, crafting jokes, trying to be witty to entertain his own wife.
And he gets nothing. A polite smile, maybe. But Punch literally just scratches his ear, and his wife laughs for 10 minutes straight.
It is the comedic tragedy of the human creator. He realizes he is directly competing with a primate for entertainment value in his own living room.
And he is being mathematically decimated.
Exactly. He is striving for authentic connection only to be utterly rendered obsolete by a zoo animal doing basic grooming.
Which leads us to the climax of his story, the accidental wave.
Oh, the wave.
Yeah, he describes a moment where his wife is watching a video on her phone, and he accidentally glances over at the screen. Punch waved at the camera. And the author? Well, he waved back.
His hand just moved on its own.
Yeah. So I have to ask you, why does the author wave back? Is this the ultimate proof that the monkey's charm is genuinely irresistible? Or is this just a symptom of Stockholm Syndrome from living in a punch-obsessed house?
I would argue it's not about the monkey's inherent charm at all. This raises an important question about the cognitive load of resisting saturated environments.
Like he's just worn out.
Exactly. Resisting a pop culture monolith requires a massive expenditure of mental energy. When your wife is watching it, your mom puts you on hold for it, your friends are distributing it.
Maintaining a posture of defiance is exhausting.
It is. The wave back is an autonomic response, but psychologically it functions as a white flag. He isn't waving at a monkey, he is waving at the zeitgeist.
A white flag to the zeitgeist. That perfectly frames his secret submission at the end of the piece. He begs the reader not to expose him.
Right, don't tell the wife.
Yeah, he says, if you catch me tomorrow watching punch videos on my own, please don't tell my wife.
Yeah.
Because, quote, she'll think she won.
He is still holding on to this tiny, fractured shred of ego.
Pretending the assimilation isn't complete. But in his conclusion, he claims he still fundamentally hates Punch the monkey.
Right, but there's a catch.
There is. He admits that if Punch ever opens a YouTube channel, teaching people how to get millions of fans, and, more importantly, how to steal a wife's attention, he might subscribe.
Just for research, obviously.
Obviously. So, what does this all mean? We have tracked a hilarious but deeply telling trajectory today.
We really have. From a jealous dog to a grown man secretly waving at a screen.
Exactly. And I want to put this directly to you, the listener. Have you ever found yourself slowly radicalized by a piece of viral content?
You start by rolling your eyes at a trend.
And 2 weeks later, you're sending it to your group chat without a second thought. So remember, the next time you click on a seemingly harmless video of a cat, a dog, or a Japanese zoo monkey, you might just be inviting an entirely new digital ruler into your home.
It represents a profound shift in how our domestic spaces operate. The screens are active pipelines that allow these viral entities to demand a permanent seat at the dinner table.
They demand the seat, and we willingly give it to them. So I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over on your own. If a simple mathematical algorithm can completely rewrite this author's home life, his friendships, and his own self-esteem, just because of a famous Japanese zoo monkey, what Unseen Punch the Monkey is currently reshaping your own household dynamics without you even realizing it.